what we're dealing with, people. This is what we're dealing with, people. What's up, people? YouTube is fake news, guys. YouTube is fake fucking news, guys. What's up, Alan? It's just late night here. What's up, Michael? Late night, not even late night, it's like 6 p.m. here in Miami, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? Decided I was gonna go for a little evening stroll. What's up, New Zealand? What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? I know I pissed some of you people off earlier today. I know it's a little bit dark, guys. I'm going for a little stroll. I pissed some of you guys off earlier today with my birthdays are dumb and birthdays are dumb and how's the audio? Can you guys hear me decent? Can you guys hear me? How's the audio? You guys are good? All right, let me try one thing. All right, how about now? Can you guys still hear me? All right, well, if you can't hear me, you just let me know. Should be good right now. All right, there you go. I think we're decent now. Listen, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know I triggered some people earlier today with my birthdays are dumb and Christmas is satanic video. But hey, I'm here to talk about something else, so don't worry about it. Listen, I appreciate you guys being here. It's approximately 8 p.m. Bernie the Weak Boy Sanders, man. It's approximately 8 p.m. here in Miami. I'm going for a little stroll, an evening stroll, because the weather's pretty decent. And man, I don't even know what. Miami is a city of communists. Well, they certainly voted for Hillary, so that was pretty disappointing. I don't know, man. Look, guys, I just wanted to rant real quick about. YouTube, man. Fake tube, YouTube. I don't even know what you call it, guys. Like. Is YouTube the most evil, demonic company on the planet? Or are they just being held hostage by, like, the TV mafia? People asking if I'm still pickup artist or MGTOW. Well, I never identified as either of those, so I'm not that I'm still either one or not. I never was. Listen, man, is YouTube criminal? Is YouTube criminally liable? Let me walk the other way because it's too damn loud around here. Is YouTube criminally liable for the kind of shady shenanigans? What's up, Tay-Tay? And all the shit that YouTube has been doing for the last fucking many years, really. Just crossing this street here, guys. Bear with me. I mean, the shady shit they've been doing since forever. I mean, yeah, what's up, what's up? YouTube does suck now, man. YouTube sucks shit now. You know, I don't know, man. They killed the marketplace. They had a real creative marketplace where people could actually upload the kind of content that clicked with people at a soul level. Something that the soul-sucking mainstream television networks could not compete with. Hey, question. Is it false advertising for YouTube to call itself YouTube? Question, little question for you guys. Is it false advertising for YouTube to call itself YouTube? Good question. Think about it. That's why it was called YouTube. Because it was about, quote, broadcasting yourself. But at this point, the evidence continues to mount that YouTube, you fucking tube, has completely sold out to corporate interests that don't even recognize what the word you even means, honestly. What do they expect? Like, what do they expect is gonna happen? How far are they gonna take this censorship? How far are they gonna take this censorship? Is the lighting better when I'm looking this way? I mean, Jesus. Lighting's pretty terrible. What's up, Sidious MGTOW? I'm gonna cut through here because it's a little less noisy. I agree, I don't like weed. I think weed is way overrated. Marijuana is way overrated. Like, I get it, like, there was so much propaganda against marijuana for so many years that, like, there had to be all this counter propaganda, but now I feel like the counter propaganda has gone a little too far. Yeah, I think you want to talk about escapism. Weed is another form of escapism for sure. Who's this moron telling me to shut up? Opa Nama? That's funny. Like, you tell me to shut up, but like I'm still talking. That's crazy, right? How weird, dude. It's almost like your words have no power. That must frustrate you deeply. Yeah, weed is silly in my opinion. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we need to ban it or, you want to use it. But I do think it's sort of overhyped a little bit. Hey, some people says it helps with their anxiety. If it does, it does. I ain't got nothing against that. I'm not going to take away what's making you feel better. I don't give a shit. World Star Hip Hop is just joining the black community. That's interesting. Why do I hate weed? Why do I hate weed? I don't hate it as a plant. Personally, it gives me anxiety whenever I've smoked it in the past. Makes me anxious, don't know why. Some say it's my ego trying to shatter and melt away. So maybe some say I probably have to smoke more. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against weed, bro. Anyways, guys, I mean, look, YouTube, man, what do we say about YouTube, bro? I mean, it's fucking YouTube, man. Oh shit, man. Oh shit, guys, man, what do we do? What do we do? YouTube. Oh, shit. When people say weed is medicine are just bullshitting themselves. They just smoke it to get high. I admit I used to abuse weed so I can get high and faded. Yeah, I mean, red pill and sticks hammer for life. It smells like fish around here. What the fuck? At least it smells like, fresh fish, not like rotten, you haven't washed your dick in a week type fish smell. There's a difference. There's two levels to fish smell. There's like fresh, you know, okay, that's edible. And then there's like, oh shit, stay away, that's diseased. Opanama insists he has power because he's a dog. All power to you, my friend. All power to you. Someone says that they're a cat. The fish smell is lesbians burping. Fuck, that's pretty gross. What's this? Eden McCullough. Eden McCullough. Hey Chris, you still vegan? You know, I was never 100% vegan. I'm striving to be 100%. I'm currently pretty consistent, 6 out of 7 days a week, vegan. Hey, I didn't bring it up. She asked me first. So don't accuse me of waving my veganism in your face. All right, they asked me first. Yeah, I try to be 6 out of 7 days vegan, and I want to go 100% vegan. I'm looking at maybe in the next month or two, I'm looking to be 100% vegan. Don't start with the soy boy. Please don't start with the soy boy. Paul Joseph Watson kicked up a fucking hornet's nest with that soy boy bullshit. This is not 1993, guys, okay? You can be vegan and not be a limp-wristed liberal cuck. Let me repeat that. It is not 1993. You can be vegan and not be a limp-wristed liberal cuck. All right, I hope you guys write that down. All right, write it down. It's not 1993 anymore. All right. Veganism is no longer synonymous with being a limp-wristed liberal cuck. All right. I put it to you this way. I strive to be vegan for the same reason you love and protect your favorite dog, cat, or other pet. All right, I'm about to hit up a intersection, so I don't want, you won't be able to hear me as I cross for dear life. So let's do this. Hey, what do you guys think about the idea of doing a real life meetup? I want to meet up in person and, you know, transcend this digital sphere. Transcend this digital sphere. And do some in-person meetups. What do you guys say about in-person meetups here in Miami? Indonesia. Eden leaves in England. Yeah, I sort of feel like if you want to give me a kiss in person and you're a dude, I'm pretty sure that by definition means it's gay, dude. There's no homo. There's no homo with that shit. You know, one thing I love about modern technology is that everybody has the FaceTime app now. Everybody has the FaceTime app now. So nowadays, everybody looks like they're walking around recording themselves. You know, like a year ago, or the many years I've been doing Red Pill Philosophy, every time I pull out the camera in public, there's always a handful of people who like shit their pants at the sight of somebody filming. I don't know what the reason is. I've never asked them, but they literally go crazy. Nowadays, though, when you got some dude like looks like he's filming himself with a camera in his face, everyone's doing that shit. Everybody's FaceTiming and Skyping their friends, so you can't hide anymore. All those weirdos who get triggered at the sight of somebody filming in public, now they don't know if I'm filming or not. So now they want to get triggered, but they don't know if I'm just a normal normie doing FaceTime with his buddies. So I love technology. somebody wants me to yell, it's okay to be white. Honestly, here in Miami, nobody would even know what that means. I'm a beautiful African American. Thank you, man. Yes, Miami is full of Cubans that hate. Hey, Aaron, I remember you from many years ago, Ron Paul activism. Hope you've been all right. Oh, man. Keep the conversation going, guys. You guys are awesome. Keep it going. Fans out of Ireland. Fans out of Ireland. People don't know if I'm fucking live streaming or if I'm just having a conversation with my mama. Usually people get triggered because they get, I think it's a jealousy thing. They get triggered because they think, oh, who do you think you are? You know, having no shame and filming yourself in public. So they try to antagonize against you out of jealousy. But now, with the advent of FaceTime and all of these Skype on cell phones, people holding up phones at their face all day now, including the normies, they don't know how to react, dude. It's great. Great times. It's just more proof that you can no longer hide. As technology advances, it's creeping more and more into our lives. You can't hide anymore, guys. You might as well just let it all hang out there. Hey, if I get jumped by somebody, then it'll be all on camera, so that'll at least make a fun video, right? Am I a flat earther? Nah, I'm not a flat earther. I'm just an extreme skeptic. One person asks, am I a flat earther? No, I'm just an extreme skeptic. That's all. Alright? I'm just an extreme skeptic. No, I'm not a Republican. And guess what? Donald Trump is not a Republican. If you think Donald Trump is a Republican, then you got it all twisted, my friend. You got it all twisted. Nope. Donald Trump is not a Republican. Breaking news. Donald Trump is not a Republican. Or am I still studying MMA? Yes, actually. As often and frequently and consistently as I can. So I've had a fucking fucked up neck for the past like 2-3 days because I slept wrong. It's funny. I'll get more injuries because I slept at a bad angle than I will from doing MMA 5 days a week for the last like 8 months. Sleeping at an awkward angle is more dangerous for your physical health than tumbling around with other people in simulated fighting in MMA class. No joke, I'm serious. How big is my dick? My dick is above average. I can tell you, I can confirm that. My penis is above average size. So, there. Wow, Chris, I gotta say, you gotta say what, bro? If you would do MMA, what weight class would you be in? Fuck. It'd probably be, I mean, I don't know the weight classes by memory, the official MMA, UFC weight classes. My normal weight when I'm really healthy is around 185-ish. When I'm like actually keeping with my diet consistently and all that. So 185-ish range. Do you still no longer hold the door open for hot girls? It's a general rule. It's not just hot girls. It's also hot girls that I'm interested in hitting on. You know, if I'm not interested in hitting on her, then I'm not going to play the stupid psychological games of not holding the door open so she doesn't think I'm a weak boy. If we live in a computer simulation, why don't you just kill yourself and start over? Well, maybe because I'm pretty happy with this avatar. I'm being followed. I'm being followed. Yeah, maybe because I'm pretty happy with this avatar. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't see why, just because if you realize you live in a computer simulation, I don't see why some people's impulse would be to just, oh, well, it's all pointless. There's no point anymore. Let me just kill myself and end it. I don't see why that should be necessarily the immediate impulse. You're an atheist. That's good. UFC predictions. I haven't really been following the latest event too closely. I hope that dog's on a leash, because that dog is big as shit. I think it is on a leash, so we're all good. Yeah, there's an owner. Fucking stray dogs out in this bitch looking to kill your ass. How much sleep do I normally get? How much sleep do I normally get? Between 6 to 8 hours when I'm, you know, doing good, you know. When I'm consistent on diet and I feel more upbeat and energetic, 6 to 8 hours. Someone says liar, I don't even know what you're talking about. Proof. Someone says I'm African from the waist down. Sorry, I'm really delayed. Really delayed on the comments here. Alright, I'm just going to catch up to the latest comments. Why don't I find myself a nice black woman? I've never heard of a YouTuber named Yahweh Rules. Someone says faggot. Someone says fagorito. My Hobbit shoes. No, I'm not wearing my Hobbit shoes. Oh, man. What is my opinion on 9/11? I don't want to get into that right now. Later, dog. No, I'm not walking my cat. That just doesn't fucking work. Trying to make sure I'm not lost here. Fuck am I even? There's a little cat on the porch there. There's a little cat on the porch. There's a little kitty. Little kitty on the porch. I love cats, man. Come on. Who doesn't love cats, bro? Come on, man. Who doesn't love cats? Someone says it's dark in this motherfucker. I better be strapped. Oh, shit. Cats are awesome. No, I was actually never a liberal in my entire life. Never a liberal. No, never, never, never. Luckily enough, my dad was always sort of conservative-ish. Probably because he's Cuban, so they have that anti-communist string in them. This is not one of my better videos. I bet you think it's better than the video I uploaded earlier today. Birthdays are dumb and Christmas is satanic. Man, that got people triggered, man. People were triggered. Cubans are entitled. Okay. Yeah, man, walking on the flat earth, you know how it is. We just go on the flat earth, bro. Which way should I go? I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way. This way, bro. I'm gonna go this way. No, I've never been to Cuba. Take the shopping cart. Yeah, right, it's probably illegal to like grab a shopping cart. You know, fucking, they're property of these companies. They don't want you taking them outside of your fucking parking lot and shit. Do I believe in ghosts? That's a good question. I don't know, I've never seen one. But I have met many people who claim they've seen ghosts and had weird paranormal experiences. But I've been fortunate enough, though some would say unfortunate enough, misfortunate enough, that I've never had any creepy encounters with beings from another dimension. But as we stroll down this dark alleyway with spider webs, literally, I'm walking through spider webs. This is fucking great. No, I've never seen ghosts, but I have had friends who've, you know, they say that they've had strange experiences. One guy said he literally saw an apparition of his dead grandfather. You know, his grandfather was dead, but he saw a ghost of his grandfather appear in front of him. He sounded like he wasn't bullshitting. I had an ex-girlfriend who said one time she was showering. She was at her home showering. With one of her best friends was also in the house. It was just them two in the house. And she was showering, she had the door closed, and she could have sworn she heard somebody knocking on the bathroom door while she was showering. And she calls out to her friend, "Hey, what's up?" She hears nothing. She calls out again, "Hey, what's up? What do you need?" Nothing. Finally, my ex-girlfriend at the time, or girlfriend at the time, current ex-girlfriend, she walks out of the bathroom and she asked her friend, "Hey, what did you need? Why were you knocking?" And you all know how the story ends. "I didn't knock." Ooh. So, you know, a lot of anecdotes, a lot of claims, but I've never seen any ghosts, so that's fine by me, man. I never want to see. I think I'm back, guys, actually. That's a giant dog, man. That dog is like a horse, dude. That is huge. God damn, man. Anyways, I think we're back, guys. It said the connection cut out. People need to get a life, dude. People are so triggered by the concept that they're being live streamed out to the masses. I'm talking about people who, like, when they see somebody filming, they immediately have this weird impulsive reaction and go hide into a shadow. It's very bizarre. I never understood it. But look, if you guys are insecure out there in the world, you don't have to take it out on me. Veganism is murder. What are you talking about? Veganism is murder. What are my favorite things about life? Loose leaf tea. Loose leaf tea. Loose leaf tea. Kombucha. 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 Oh man. Hang on, I gotta cross the intersection here. Alright, I'm gonna do it right now real quick before I get killed. Alright. I like going for walks. I really like going for walks. Those are great. Just a nice calm walk in the morning. Oh man. That's how I get my day started. Gotta go for a walk in the morning, bro. Short walk. Just, you know, the overall things. Fitness, health, pushing the boundaries of my fear barrier. I can't sleep at night if I feel like I haven't done something that I want to accomplish, but I'm afraid of accomplishing it. I get so guilty because I feel like I just cowered it out. So I feel like, you know, conquering fears is a huge thing that I live for. Not always successful, but I try, and I think it works out in the end zone. I might be Fidel Castro's bastard son. It's, you know, I won't say, you know, some people say I look like Fidel Castro, so you never know. I might be his nephew or some shit. It's a long lost nephew. Maybe Fidel Castro had sex with, like, I don't know. I probably have shit myself. Hasn't everybody? You know, actually, my walks are usually in the morning, actually. I don't usually go walking at night. Usually in the morning. Let me show you guys what's going on. It's really empty around here. Very barren. It's just empty. Something eerie about nighttime lit by human artificial lighting. Like, you can just tell it's not natural. There's something unsettling about it. Hey, Eden McCula, whatever the hell your name is, are you vegan? What's the woman's number one fantasy? I guess it depends from one woman to the next, but I think there's certainly a forbidden fantasy that a lot of women are very afraid to admit to, probably just because men shame women for having these fantasies, mostly male feminists. A lot of male feminists who are fathers. Eden says she's more vegetation. More vegetation. I guess you mean more vegetarian? What the fuck was I just talking about? I forgot what I was talking about because I got distracted by the concept of all the people talking about veganism. So veganism, I don't know, man. The reason I like veganism is assuming plants are not sentient. If plants are sentient, then the entire vegan thing goes down the toilet. It's done, you know. But assuming plants don't feel, then I don't know, to me veganism is just like, well, like you have a pet like a cat or a dog, and you love your cat, and you have this empathy towards your cat, whatever pet you have this empathy towards your pet, where you love your pet, you pay for your pet's medical bills to take care of it. You would be crushed if your pet ever got hit by a car or kidnapped or abused by somebody. We have all this empathy towards our pets, and yet for some reason we like to turn off that empathy switch when it comes to the animals that we are accustomed to eating. And that's a big part of it, is I feel like, how can I go out into the world as somebody who considers himself a good human being when I'm willing to throw logic and consistency out the window just because I want to eat an animal that was killed, tortured, and butchered by some stranger and then packaged and put into a supermarket for my consumption. Like, I don't feel like I can be a consistent human being who feels like a good person in the world when I just say, who cares? Animals don't have feelings. Animals were just placed here for us to eat them. But you'd never say that about your pet. You'd never say that about your pet. So to me, it's just like, that's a big part of why I've been so interested in veganism. That's a big part of it. Another part was just I felt absolutely fucking disgusted. I felt disgusted by like the way the world is. I remember seeing this video where these dolphin hunters, I guess, in China had beached dozens or hundreds of dolphins had been beached, and the dolphins, they can't swim away because they're just stuck on the stand flopping around. And when they got all these dolphins completely vulnerable and helpless, the guys come in and they start slashing them, stabbing them, killing them. And I get that it's a whole marketplace, and I get that it's an economy, and I get that these people, it's their job. So I think a lot of times vegans are a bit naive because they want to like eliminate the meat industry, but you'd be robbing millions and millions of humans of a job. So vegans talk a lot about empathy for other living beings, but a lot of times vegans will not extend that empathy to other human beings, which always had me wondering, do some vegans hate humans more than they love animals? 'Cause I do think that's the thing for some vegans. They hate humans more than they love animals. And veganism is just an excuse to shit on people. And that's why you'll see vegans, they'll pet a tiger. Oh, tiger, you're such a lovely, beautiful creature. Oh, gotta protect the tigers. And the tiger turns around and like kills fucking other animals, and the vegans don't even care. But if a human eats a steak, oh, it's all hell breaking loose. It just seems like a weird inconsistency. So that's why it's like it's veganism 2.0. You got people like Paul Joseph Watson, who's lately he's just been shitting on veganism for the past like 2 weeks. But the thing is that I know that when Paul shits on veganism, and when a lot of like conservative type people shit on veganism, they're really shitting on veganism 1.0. They're thinking about the 1993 version of veganism. There's a veganism 2.0 where a lot of the silly, fallacious arguments that radical vegans used are not used any longer. But more importantly, veganism 2.0, you're not going vegan because you hate sheep. You're going vegan because of far more rational and sensible reasons other than I'm a liberal, fuck humans, etc., etc. And I know that there's a lot of elite institutions that are pushing veganism. I get it. All the global warming people say you got to go vegan because, you know, the meat industry creates all these greenhouse gases. So yes, I get that a lot of the elite establishment organizations are pushing veganism. But just because a discredited organization pushes something doesn't mean that that something is necessarily bad. Soy boy is a gay boy. You know, Paul Joseph Watson, man, dude, you got to leave your safe space and go debate some of these vegans who called you out. All right? You can't go around saying vegans are soy boys and then be afraid to leave your safe space and debate them. Come on. Paul. Uh-oh, we got a bad connection. Alright, I think we're back. Fuck your safe space. Okay, are we back, guys? The connection with the shit, are we back? Back, maybe. Actually, I'm gonna keep going. Alright. Look, if carrots... Look, here's the thing. When people say, oh, but avocados can feel, and every time a vegan eats, a banana dies. Look, if an avocado is a sentient thing, a self-aware sentient thing, my thinking is, fuck, I hope a human comes along and puts me out of my misery. Because what could be more miserable than being an inanimate object, frozen in place? If bananas and carrots can feel, hey, put me out of my misery if I'm a carrot or a banana. Because look, I'm conscious, but I can't fucking move. They clone you when you get to 100,000 subs. I've always had a theory that, like, when Alex Jones got too popular, they had to silence the real Alex Jones, maybe put him in a cage somewhere, or lock him up in some complex in the middle of nowhere. And they had to get a robot Alex Jones to replace him. Because I feel like if you look at Alex Jones's his physical appearance over the past like 15, 20 years, I feel like there's a missing gap between the thin version of Alex Jones and the sort of fat bullfrog Alex Jones. And I say that with all love for Alex Jones, because I'm such a big fan of that motherfucker, bro. Alex Jones is a shit. There seems to be a gap between thin Alex Jones and fat Alex Jones. There's like a missing space. It's almost like they had to get a big fucking robot to replace Alex Jones. Anyways, I'm ranting about Alex fucking Jones being a robot right now, so. Hey, I gotta do an in-person meetup one of these days, man. In-person meetup one of these days. Alex Jones is real news, 100% real news. if people, Ceramus, if I'm pronouncing your name right, that eating meat, you can say goodbye to many domestic chickens and cows will be preyed upon until they are extinct. Yeah, but what's the point in being alive if you're a slave? Thousands of worms die when you harvest vegetables. Yeah, that seems to be the inevitable problem, doesn't it? You know, when I think about going vegan, I would love to live in a world where there was no harm done. I mean, I'm walking now, as you guys can see. While I'm here ranting and raving about fucking veganism and not doing any harm, how many little innocent bugs did I step on while I've been walking here, more concentrated on the live stream I'm doing than on where I'm stepping? How many bugs did I crush? So there is that problem with the vegan argument, which is just being alive is almost inevitably going to lead to the death of something else. Whether it's getting on your bike and running over a little frog on the street and crushing it, or getting in a plane and then the plane's flying through the air and a fucking bird flies through the jet. Hey, you chose to get on that plane. You chose to pay the ticket in an industry where thousands of birds get sucked into the jet engine every year. If you're vegan, you know what you're paying for. And people say, oh, but there's a difference between intentionally trying to hurt and kill something and accidentally doing it. You didn't accidentally get into a plane. You didn't accidentally, get on a bike and start driving down the street where you knew that inevitably you're going to run over some innocent life form. That was no mistake. That was all on purpose. You chose it. You could have chose to put the other species first. You could have chose to stay home and lie stationary in bed. This is what happens. If you actually want to be a consistent vegan, you have to ask and confront these questions. But I think a lot of vegans, they weren't interested in that for many years. And they gave veganism a bad name. They gave veganism a bad fucking name, bro. Because they weren't trying to be rational. And the way I see it, if you're truly concerned about hurting other life forms, you wouldn't just sweep these important questions under the rug. Unless your priority wasn't the well-being of other life forms. Unless your priority was, I'm an angry radical vegan and I hate humans more than I love animals, and I'm going to use this diet to shit all over people. See, that's called veganism 1.0. So we're talking about veganism 2.0 here. The vegan argument falls apart when you point out that the animals exist only because they are to be slaughtered. I feel like I can interpret that more than one way, so I'm not really sure what you meant. So maybe if you rephrase it or something. Insects can barely feel, says one man. Insects can barely feel. Well, that's an interesting assertion. Is that true? You know, it's a good question. And I'm glad you raised the question. But, you know, when people say, oh, but a lizard can't feel or an insect can't feel, you know what? Maybe you're right, but, man, let me tell you, when I pull out that shoe and I start chasing that fucking thing around the house to crush it to death, that motherfucker runs like it can feel everything. That motherfucker runs like it can feel everything. I mean, have you ever seen an insect run for its life, dude? Man, it may not be able to feel pain, but it sure as fuck runs like it can. Those things look terrified for their lives. Terrified for their lives. So, I don't know, man. I wouldn't be so quick to say that they don't feel as much as we do. I think if you take a roach and you rip its leg off while it's still alive, it's gonna be squirming around like something bad's happening to it. So maybe you're saying you don't feel as much. Let me see. Homie says, I didn't say insects couldn't feel. I said barely. It's all relative. Also, running away doesn't imply feeling, dude. Well, I mean, you're right. It doesn't imply feeling. It just looks like it's in distress. Which, again, you're right. It doesn't imply feeling. I'm not saying it's proof of feeling. But on your point that it's all relative, I'd like to know if there was any proof of that. Unfortunately, if you go deep enough into the argument of whether or not something can feel pain, you hit this wall of solipsism where you realize you kind of can't prove that anything is sentient. I mean, you might be able to prove it for yourself because you can feel it, but how do you prove that everybody else isn't just an automaton robot that looks like they're sentient and claims and talks and says, hey, I'm sentient, but you can't prove how do you prove subjective experience? How do you prove sentience? See, these are real issues. A lot of vegans don't want to go down this shit because it's too complicated, but you have to ask these questions if you want to have a truly consistent philosophy/diet. So you're saying that insects, they can feel, just not as much. Okay, well, what's the argument there? Do they have fewer nerve receptors for feeling pain? Like, at least what's the so-called evidence? Let me see if Homeboy added another comment. I'm a little delayed here. Mrs. Eden, assuming Mrs. Eden is even a woman, it's kind of small profile thing. You could be a dude, I don't even know. You could be a tranny, who the fuck knows nowadays. Can't tell from your profile pic because everything's so tiny on my screen. But Eden McCullough, I don't even know how to pronounce your name, writes, it does imply that it is a conscious being and that it knows it's alive and that it wants to live. I'm gonna go this way. Well, you know, that's the thing. I don't think it actually proves. Well, it does prove that you're right. It does seem to prove that it wants to live, because it's trying to get away from the thing that's trying to kill it. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Someone writes, the proof of self-preservation proves they are sentient. Is that true? Could you not program a robot that when you started punching it in the face, the robot tried to scurry away? Is the robot sentient? There's a difference between something that's conscious and can feel and something that just has a stimuli response. These insects would eat you alive while you are trying to save them. Well, that's very true. I do not watch Sticks X and Hammer 666. I've seen his videos occasionally, but I don't really watch, frequently. Gotta tell the woman what to do, man. Well, you do, man. Otherwise, the woman loses respect for you, and she goes find the next dude who treats her like the woman she wants to be. This person writes, I think invoking extreme skepticism / solipsism is a bogus move in this context. I think it's fair to deduce that mammals are far worthier of our moral consideration than insects. And no, it's a fine question. It's a fine question. By what basis? By what basis do you say that mammals are more worthy of our consideration than insects? By what basis? I mean, isn't that at the essence of like veganism? You don't get to pick and choose who you get to kill just because one of them is of a different species or a different this or a different that. Isn't it all about empathy? Okay, Eden has confirmed she is of the female gender. Eden has confirmed it. So that's good news. Some guy writes, I'm sorry, bro, but fuck spiders. If that makes me racist or whatever, then fuck, so be it. Though that might make you speciesist, but I don't know about racist. Besides, I think most vegans would agree with you. Hashtag fuck spiders. Spiders are creepy, bro. Whew, those motherfuckers are creepy, man. Man, they get your fucking neck all tingly, dude. Those little motherfuckers. They're particularly demonic. Are we there yet? Nah, not yet, man. Mr. Black Vulcan writes, there's a phenomenon that Joe Rogan touches on where animals of prey give in to the predator and accept their fate. What's the point of that, though? I mean, are you making an argument against veganism, or are you just pointing that out? If you're just pointing it out, then cool. If you're trying to make an argument against veganism, then I guess what I'll say is, I mean, that's just, if that's an argument against veganism, that's pointless. I mean, accepting defeat in the face of an inevitable death doesn't prove that it's all right to kill the animal. Somebody writes, your robot counterpoint just proved my point regarding insects. It is wrong to have children because they will suffer. Will they suffer necessarily? I don't know about that. I don't own the cat. So I do not feed it meat. What I think about Alex Jones and InfoWars, I think they're the fucking shit. And I don't mean they're a piece of shit, I mean they're the shit. AlexJonesInfowars.com is real news. Real news. Jennifer suggests that maybe the insect is running away because it caught a glimpse of the size of your cock. That's a very real possibility, Jennifer. That's a very real possibility. Who else is gay for him? You're mixing philosophy without basic neuroscience. A fucking potato/bug is not conscious or sentient. Well, I don't know about potatoes, but I didn't know the case was closed that insects had no consciousness. If they have no consciousness, then that's great news. I'm going to be wielding that shoe with no mercy. Chris, is white privilege real? No. Well, it might be, but it's not because white people are evil oppressors trying to hold back everybody else. If white privilege exists, it's just because white people mind their own business and do their shit. Am I saying that white people can't be racist? Am I saying that there aren't any whites who are, you know, obsessed over race and will actually go out of the way to fuck up the life of a person of another race? Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm sure that happens. The point is that every race has those kinds of people. Every fucking race has those kinds of people. So focusing only on white people being racist is a double standard in an age where we claim we want to be equal. I'm a spiderist, bro. Joe Rogan, you know, I've been a fan of Joe Rogan for so many years, but when Trump came along, I really feel like the Trump movement really separated the men from the boys. I don't know what's up with Joe Rogan. Some people theorize that he was threatened, and so he keeps quiet about his true opinions politically. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I honestly always had high hopes for Joe. I always felt like that dude was like on the cutting edge, always breaking down really cool topics. But I feel like he's just gotten soft since the Trump phenomenon came along. So it's just really sad. It's tragic, but whatever. Why did you stop saying serve the cock? I didn't stop saying serve the cock. I still believe it. Get on your knees and serve the cock. I mean, grab him by the pussy. I mean, what else do we got to say here? The internet has a consciousness. What do you believe should be the age of sexual consent? Somebody asks, what do you believe should be the age of sexual consent? Well, obviously the legal age is 18 in, I think, the majority of America. So obviously, that's what I agree with, whatever the legal age is. I agree with the legal age of consent. That said, if you look at things evolutionarily, biologically, evolutionarily, the human body a lot of times does not agree with society's legal ages of consent. In fact, in many other countries today, the age of consent is much younger than the standard 18. There are many countries currently existing today where the age of consent is much lower than 18. You can marry a 15-year-old. It's common in some countries. Totally accepted. No one bats an eye. In many countries still today. Ask the average person, what was the first time you masturbated? And they'll say 11, 12. I've been jerking off since I was 12. It's common. It's common. So the question over consent is pretty clear. You have to follow the laws where you live, because that's what's agreed upon and that's the way it should be. Follow the laws where you live, because the age of consent is tied in to the social norms of that geographic location. If you live in a country where 15 is the age of consent, and you can marry as young as 15 years old, even if you're 30, 35, 40, then for whatever reason, that's what's allowed there. Whether or not you think it's ethical, and should be changed is a totally different discussion. Death is merely a human construct. It doesn't exist. One guy writes, white privilege is real, but it's not the reason why black communities have problems. Can animals be racist? Asks Volfrade. Can't animals be racist? Oh. Yeah, they probably can be. I've noticed this is ironic. There's actually like 2 dark fur cats where my mom lives. But my mom, in my mom's house, she has a little white ginger cat. You guys probably seen the white ginger cat. So I've kind of noticed that for a while, these 2 darker skinned, darker fur coat cats, they kind of had beef with the white ginger colored cat, which might lend credence to the theory that gingers are the truest minority. No, I don't read comics. No, I do not read comics, and I absolutely can't stand comic book movies. Really don't like them. Death is also used as a fear tactic. Once you realize we are eternal souls living in the 3rd dimension, you won't be scared anymore. Wait until you get to the 12th dimension and experience ascension. I snort brain force. There is no spoon. There is no spoon. There is no spoon. There's no spoon, guys. Guys, there's no spoon. There's no fucking spoon, guys. You gotta learn from the fucking cat psyche. The cat third eye, bro. There is no fucking spoon, man. Cats hold the secret to your transcendence. That's why a dog is barking right now. The dog is trying to bark and block out the feline cosmic consciousness. Cats hold the secret to ascension. I'll say it again. Cats hold the secret to ascension. Spiritual ascension. It's so bright. It's so bright and happy. I was actually watching a video earlier today about how Christmas has its roots in a satanic pagan religion or some shit like that. Not the Jesus Christmas, the Christian Christmas, not that. I'm talking about a lot of the extra cultural baggage that's put on Christmas today. Supposedly has its roots in like some satanic pagan religion or something. I don't know if that's true, but I heard about it today, so. I don't live in California. Am I walking bare feet? No, I'm walking sandal feet. I'm walking sandal feet. Okay. Wow, that's a very insightful point there, Black Vulcan. No one ever experiences death because you can't experience anything while dead. Bingo! Bingo! This is such a huge point. This is so huge because you realize how foolish it is to fear, anticipate, or worry about the day you die. Because if when you die, you do in fact die, meaning the lights go out for all eternity, then you won't be there to experience the lights going out. The only reason you would ever feel anxiety or worry or sadness about your impending death is because you're assuming you'll still be around after you die to feel miserable. When you conceptualize the idea of death, you forget to remove your consciousness from the equation, because your consciousness presumably, which is the reason you're so sad to begin with, your consciousness presumably won't be there when you're dead. So feeling anxious or sad about death is completely pointless. If you die and the lights turn out for all eternity, then you will no longer exist and be around to feel bad. If somehow you continue to exist after death, then it's proof of eternal life. And what do you have to feel sad about if it turns out you live on after death? Such a huge point. I remember like 2 years ago, that shit dawned on me while I was doing a video. I don't know if I ever publicized that video. I think I might have published it, but only for like Patreon, Red Pill members. But man, that's a big one. People forget to take consciousness out of the equation too often. This is the problem with mainstream physicalism, or the mainstream, quote, science movement, scientism. Really, the technical term is physicalism. They forget to take consciousness out of the equation. Every time they forget to take consciousness out of the equation. I would argue that is the fundamental problem with science today, is that science, which is a wonderful system, but physicalists, believers in physicalism, have hijacked science. Science will leap forward exponentially once the mainstream scientists drop physicalism and start accounting for the anomaly of consciousness. Consciousness is the key, man. Consciousness is the key. I'm telling you. It's the fucking key. It's the missing variable in the equation. And nobody wants to look at it because it throws physicalism out the fucking window. And the thing is that physicalists, they run the big institutions. Because the big, most powerful institutions, they need physicalism to maintain their power. I mean, if you're talking about something like Big Pharma, their whole scientific basis for Big Pharma is physicalism. So they have a vested interest in perpetuating physicalism. I mean, it's everywhere, man. It's very extensive. You know, I went riding bike with my dad about a week ago, and I told him that Elon Musk, the creator of Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk came out and said there's a very high chance that we live in a simulation. Random people. Damn, Papa John's got pulled over. Papa John's got pulled over. And what was I even saying? Holy shit. Damn. Sucks.
Yo vuelvo y te digo a lo que prefieras. Sí, vamos a verlo. Pero tú.
That sucks. What was I saying? Okay, yes. So I was riding bike with my dad, and I told him that Elon Musk believes the universe is very good chance the universe could be a simulation. Very good chance the universe could be a simulation. And my dad was like, what? Like, what's the basis? How does he think the universe could be a simulation? You can cross, buddy. Or you can sit here for an hour. Oh, thanks, bro. Jesus fucking Christ. Alright. Sorry. Yeah, what is his basis for believing that the universe is a simulation? Elon Musk. And I told my dad, well, you know, he just put forward this idea that 40 years ago we had Atari and it was just two bars and a dot 40 years ago. Fast forward to today and we have the most elaborate simulations with wonderful graphics, with millions of people loading up the simulation simultaneously and interacting with each other in the simulated world. And so the video game technology will advance eventually to a point where the simulations are so realistic that they're going to be indistinguishable from real life. Indistinguishable from real life. So that's what Elon Musk is basically saying. If there's going to be millions of these simulations, how are we going to know which one is the original real world? But there's way better arguments for the simulation theory than that. So I continue to tell my dad about, you know, the quantum physics experiments, the double slit experiment, or the quantum eraser experiment. You see, the physicalists for decades now have denied the implications of the double slit experiment. I mean, never in the history of science has an experiment been so doubted and put through scrutiny than probably the double slit experiment. Physicalists, you know, they talk about how religious people, quote, move the goalpost. But you know what? Physicalists have been moving the goalpost on the double slit quantum experiment. Let me turn around. For decades now. No matter how elaborate the double slit experiments become, physicalists refuse to accept the results because the implications of those experiments imply that conscious awareness or knowledge of the experiment results change the experiment. Now, for many decades, physicalists would say, but that's because when you're observing the double slit experiment, somehow you observing it, you're having a physical effect on the photons, on the particles. That's what physicalists said. You're having some type of physical effect just by measuring, just by observation. Fuck, fine, okay, fine, physicalists, you got us. So, people have tried to come up with many different versions of the double slit experiment. And in the 1990s, they came up with something called the quantum eraser double slit experiment that, to me, is kind of like the nail in the coffin on this topic. They found a way to create a slightly modified version of the double slit experiment so that there's absolutely no fucking way the observer is the key factor that is affecting the photons going through the double slit. It's crazy. Google right now, if you want to, Google, go to YouTube, type in quantum eraser experiment. It will blow your mind off. And let me tell you, it scares the shit out of diehard physicalists, because they do not want to believe that consciousness is the ghost in the atom, the ghost in the machine, the final anomaly that has to be taken into account if you truly want to have a holistic, unified picture of reality and a theory of everything. This goes back to what I was saying originally about how people so often tend to forget, they tend to overlook consciousness. You know, so I was talking to my dad, and my dad's like, so what are you saying, Chris? Are you saying that, is this like, you know, like if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, did it make a sound? Are you saying that if no one's there to see or hear the tree, if no one's there to see or hear it, it doesn't make a sound? And then my dad goes, because I believe that even if no one's there to see or hear that tree make a sound, it still makes a sound. And I told him, you know what, bro? I don't think that tree makes a sound. If no one's there to hear it, I don't think it makes a fucking sound, bro. I don't think it makes a sound. And that's when you have a radical change in your perspective of reality. That's when everything gets flipped upside down. On one side, we have the physicalists who put the external, objective physical reality on a pedestal as the ultimate arbiter of truth and reality. And then you have what the technical term for them is idealists, which is my position, the idealists, who believe that subjective conscious awareness is the true fundamental basis of reality. Subjective conscious awareness, the true fundamental basis of reality. And everything stems out from there. Everything stems out from there. If you believe we live in a purely material reality and that physical matter comes first, that totally dictates how you view mental health, what the cause of mental health problems is, and more importantly and profitably, what the solution, really the treatment to mental health is. If you believe, on the other hand, that reality is fundamentally subjective, that there's a subjective conscious awareness that is the true basis of reality, then that radically changes how you would approach something like mental health. Because it's not just physical neurons firing in a causal mechanistic process in the brain that's making you feel this way or that way. There could be a more fundamental thing going on that is causeless, that is, quote, non-physical. So anyways, I'm gonna get to the latest comments because I'm like 10 minutes behind on the live stream comments. So let me get up to date here. Double slit experiment, you got it. I can make my body vibrate at will. Interesting. Sorry guys, I'm just reading your comments. Going back through your comments here. Great question. Great question. What if a tape recorder was left nearby the fallen tree? So Tom Campbell talked about this sort of hypothetical before, and I think this ties into the quantum eraser experiment. In the quantum eraser experiment, one of the common interpretations of the experiment, the stunning results, was that the results of the experiment change retroactively upon an observer becoming aware of the results. So let me repeat that, because that's crazy shit. One of the most common interpretations of the quantum eraser experiment was that the results of the experiment change retroactively upon an observer becoming aware of the results. Meaning, past, present, and future don't exist at the quantum level. Nothing is predeterministic at the quantum level. So, when it comes to the tree falling in the forest and there's nobody there to hear it, but what if a tape recorder records it? From my understanding, it is not until a conscious observer presses play on the recorder and listens to the recorded sound, it is not until then that the tree made a sound. The tree only made a sound when the conscious observer hears it playing in front of them in real time. Until then, the tree did not make a sound. Quantum eraser experiment. Google it. YouTube it. In fact, YouTube it. Don't Google it. YouTube it. Got late night bike riders here. I love it. Late night bike riders. I love it. Might take you guys for a late night bike ride one of these days. This reminds me of my old podcasts from years ago. I used to do podcasts going for walks, so you'd hear the cars zooming by in the background. I've always felt like it was a nice ambience. Yes, this is a key point. People are saying sound is interpretation from vibration, so no sound. I'm going much more fundamental than that. Yes, technically sound is a human construct in the ear and the brain. Sound is really just vibration, or rather, that's where the human sense of sound is derived from vibration of particles. So there's a difference between the tree falling and disrupting air particles, which eventually a human ear detects the moving air particles and it's interpreted by the brain as sound. There's a difference between the two. But the whole, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound, it's a slightly simplified analogy. Technically, my answer to that question is, not only does the falling tree not give out little particles of vibration or send out vibrations that disrupt the particles in the air, which eventually becomes the sound you hear in your ear, I'm saying the tree doesn't even exist. The forest doesn't even exist. Period. Doesn't even exist. And I know that sounds like this silly conspiracy theory video that was going around like last year called Forests Don't Exist. It's completely unrelated to that shit. Completely unrelated to that shit. I'm just saying in the analogy, the forest doesn't exist, the trees don't exist, the planet doesn't exist, the universe doesn't exist. The universe does not exist independent of consciousness. The universe does not exist independently of a conscious awareness. So, no, even if the tree falls and vibrations in the air start to ripple, which eventually would become sound if there was a human ear to hear it, not even the particles in the air don't exist, the vibrations don't exist, the tree that fell doesn't even exist, the woods don't exist. I know, it's fucking crazy. I don't like it. Part of me likes the idealist worldview. You know, the consciousness is fundamental interpretation of quantum physics. Part of me likes it because I feel like the world has so much more opportunity and potential, like anything is possible. Part of me doesn't like it because I start to get a little existential anxiety, because it places a burden on your consciousness, because you realize that you can no longer really depend on the solid ground weight of physical matter as this sort of objective thing that you rest on. And I think that's the problem with a lot of physicalists, is that objective material reality becomes a comfort for them. It gives them a sense of existential grounding in their lives. And they don't want to let go of that. It's become their God. Duckies. Nice little duckies. Little duckies. It's become their God. Let's catch up to these comments here. One guy says Hitler was a vegetarian. Well, I'm sure Hitler also liked water. People like to say, oh, Hitler was a vegetarian, so how could you be a vegetarian? Hitler liked water. I'm sure he liked taking a shit. I mean, just because Hitler did something doesn't mean by necessitation, if that's even a word, that it's a bad thing. Red Pill would piss himself being with Lauren Southern. Sounds like fake news, my friend. Sounds like fake news. Well, apparently, yeah, I did read recently that Hitler was against, animal testing. I believe they actually banned animal testing, animal experimentation in Nazi Germany. And some historical records say that Hitler wanted to ban slaughterhouses, animal slaughterhouses. He wanted to ban those after World War II. Obviously, he couldn't because the Nazis lost the war. But that is one interpretation of history, that Hitler was a vegetarian. And he actually had a lot of empathy for animals, which is a little weird because it's like, wait, isn't he just a megalomaniacal psychopath who just wants to kill things? It's very weird to see footage of Hitler, like, intimately petting dogs. It's really bizarre to see that, because it's not what you're shown in the mainstream. But yeah, you know, there is actually evidence that Hitler was supposedly vegetarian or something. But a lot of vegans and vegetarians deny that because they don't like the affiliation. I'm just reading your guys' comments, don't worry about it. I don't have a kitty, bro. Yeah, I don't have a cat. I used to have a cat a few years ago. She died, but my younger brother got a cat. That's the little ginger cat you see in videos, so. We won't need capitalism once we overcome scarcity, but that is hundreds of thousands of years away. I don't think it's 100,000 years away, man. Fuck, man, half a century, 40, 50 years maybe. You seen how fast technology evolves nowadays? It's freaking nuts. Man, we'll be 3D printing, you know, vegan burgers, you know, right there in our office desk, you know, in a few fucking years. You know, honestly, I have a feeling that we're going to be able to somehow use quantum science, quantum physics science to manifest miracles out of the ether. I know that sounded completely bonkers, but basically, in my opinion, quantum mechanics is miraculous because it breaks the laws of causality. So because the quantum world breaks the laws of causality, we're already using quantum computers. We're harnessing the laws of the quantum level to make quantum computers that are exponentially just gazillion, way more powerful and faster than traditional ones and zeros computers. So quantum computers harnessed the seemingly miraculous non-causal realm of quantum physics. So we're already using, speaking of roaches, we're already using the miracles of the quantum level. When I say miracle, I mean that literally. We're using the literal miracles of quantum physics to defy the physical world and literally manifest incredible things. So, it wouldn't surprise me if in a few decades we will be 3D printing cheeseburgers, 3D printing cheeseburgers out of a quantum computer. You don't have to harvest seeds and fucking, you know, get the bread and the this and the that. You don't even need that. Quantum cheeseburgers. I said it right here. Quantum cheeseburgers. Quantum cheeseburgers, man. Hey, for you, any of you guys just joining in, that's right. We're talking about quantum fucking cheeseburgers. Let me show you guys some ducks. The duck's like, why is this guy walking towards us? Ducks. Ducks. Random ass ducks. Oh, I agree. Quantum pussy. There'll be sex bots for that long before we have to worry about manifesting it out of the ether. What is one of my favorite vegan meals? Asked Eden. Well, Eden, you know, there's this really good, and I know any true health nut will be disappointed, but there's this very good vegan frozen dinner. It's actually a company. It's called Amy's. They make frozen dinners. Some of their options are vegan. I'm telling you right now, you pop these Amy's vegan frozen dinners in your microwave, and 5 minutes later, you have the most delicious vegan meal right there in front of you. Honestly, I gave up on cooking my own shit because I just buy these vegan frozen dinners, bro. I used to, fucking make smoothies and big ass salads. Now I just fucking vegan frozen dinner that bitch. And you know what? It doesn't seem like I'm eating crap food. You think frozen dinner, you think garbage quality. So anyways, that is one of my favorite meals that I eat, on a regular basis. I was actually in London about a month ago, and there's this place called What the Pita. Eden, I'm telling you right now, Eden, if you live in the UK, which I think you said you did, you have to go to Google right now. You have to type in What the Pita near me. Okay? And if there is a What the Pita within 2 hours of you, you need to go drive there tomorrow. You need to go drive there tomorrow and eat their fucking pitas. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm not even gonna try to tell you how amazing it is. Just go do it. Goy boy. Get over it. Get over the silly, cliched, outdated, and inaccurate claims that there's some kind of correlation between veganism and low estrogen, or rather low testosterone levels. Well, that might be true because you're talking about veganism 1.0. You're not talking about veganism 2.0, which is veganism without all the silly, limp-wristed liberal communism. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and continue my walk here. I'm gonna pop in a little bit of a audio book. I've been listening to the first book of the Lord of the Rings trilogy lately, in audiobook format. The Fellowship of the Ring, the Lord of the Rings. I read the book like a decade ago when I was in high school, but I decided to download the audiobook recently, so I've been listening to that. So yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Eden, for tuning in. Yeah, I mean, what can we say? What can we say? It's a great conversation, guys. I love your comments. It's pretty cool that we can do this digitally. I think I'm gonna start doing meetups in person though, locally here in Miami. So, break the digital barrier. Get out of the matrix a little bit. And yeah. So anyways, that's all in the future, but yeah, I'll be safe walking home. Thank you. I'm about an hour away, but I'll be there soon enough. All right, guys. Good night to y'all. Take care of yourself. If there were any super chatters, thank you very much for that. Take care, guys. We will talk again very soon.